Good evening, class. Can you hear my audio? Good evening. Anyone from the group kindly confirm if I'm audible? Good evening, anyone from the class? Okay, so thank you for those who answer for confirming. Okay, so okay. So yan, class representative or the president of your section. So kindly record the participants of this meeting. So also to everyone para ma-acknowledge kayo sa attendance, kindly send your your name. Yan, paki-send yung name niyo sa GC last name, first name. Last name, first name. And paki-send sa GC sa ano I mean sa ano dito sa chat box, not on the GC, here in the chat box para ma-acknowledge kayo. And class representative, kindly record kung sino yung mga umattend and update sa akin para ma-acknowledge yung attendance nila. So, I will not make the night long. Yan, I know na baka may iba pa kayong task. So, I'll be starting my lecture na. So, just inform me if wala kayong naririnig sa aking lecture, and reserve your questions kung meron man kayong medyo hindi naiintindihan at the end of our discussion. Okay, so yan, let me know kung walang audio sa end nyo para ma-double check ko kung meron ba akong dapat i-adjust sa setting. So, and also at the end, kung may question kayo, kindly reserve it na lang sa dulo. Okay, so let's begin. Good day, class. So for today's lesson, we are going to explore in depth the radiographic contrast as part of your technical factors affecting radiographic quality. Okay, so to begin with, let's first again define what contrast is. So when we said contrast, these are the range of density variation among the light and dark areas on the radiographic images. Okay, so on our previous discussion, I already given you how to distinguish contrast. And once again, it is mentioned here, it is about variation. Okay, so it's variation. Ano yung ginamit nating term before? It's difference. So when you encountered variation of density, it's also pertaining to how the adjacent density on the images is different from each other. Like halimbawa dito sa sinabi ng ating definition between light and dark areas. Yung isa mas maitim, yung isa mas lighter yung appearance. Kaya ang appearance nito makikita mong merong demarcation or merong boundary dun sa pagitan ng dalawang density or degree of blackness. So which is yun yung contrast na and effect visibility of the image. So also, contrast is a difference in density on adjacent anatomic structures. So kaya siya nga magpapakita nung appearance or nung outline nung anatomy dun sa image natin because we can see the boundaries or the differences between adjacent structures, meaning yung magkatabing organ or yung magkatabing portion ng anatomy, nakikita nating magkaiba sila dahil yung kanilang density ay also different in degree of blackness. Yung isa mas maputi, isa mas darker. So nakikita natin yung demarcation. Okay, so that's contrast. Okay, let's move to the overall contrast on the radiograph. So, yung radiographic contrast natin, meron tong dalawang components. So, remember, we have the first one here is the subject contrast, and the second one that we're about to also discuss will be the film contrast. So, may pinagkaiba yung dalawang yan. So, let's differentiate them. Okay, so unahin muna natin si subject contrast. So, subject contrast is can be seen on the aerial images. So pag sinabi nating images, these are image that contains the information derived from the patient. So you already have the idea kung saan tungkol yung ating subject contrast. This is the property of the body part of the patient being exposed to the radiation. So yung pattern no kung paano nagkaiba-iba yung degree of attenuation on that body portion ni patient na in-expose natin sa beam will be the source of the subject contrast. Yung tinawag ng subject, di ba, parang sa syntax ng isang sentence, the one that you are referring to or yung focus ng statement is the subject. Just like on our examination, si pasyente ang ating subject. So yung kung paano i-change or i-modify ng body part ni patient yung beam natin. So as it enter and exit. So prior to entering, merong 100% degree. So 100% pa yung beam natin, original beam. But right after, tumagos kay patient yan, may mga certain will be absorbed. So merong mga ma-absorb, merong mga ma-attenuate lang, and meron yung mga makakatagos lang sila ng halos hindi napapahina nung structure because of that region's nature. So may mga katagos lang, merong ma-absorb at merong mapapahina. At yung pattern na yun, may iba't iba silang density, which is a representation of the property of the anatomy within that particular region. Okay, so subject contrast tungkol sa property ni patient. Yung pinanggalingan ng contrast is yung property ng katawan ng pasyente. Okay, so also as mentioned here, this is the ratio of the number of photons into or more equal zones of the aerial images. Okay, so yun nga, yung pinagkaiba ng attenuation. So halimbawa, dumaan sa buto para mas madaling magets. Okay, halimbawa, ito yung buto ng pasyente. Yung portion na may buto, ang magiging kulay niya is white. Ay magiging white siya. Bakit? Kasi kapag tumama sa kanya yung beam, mataas ang kanyang absorbing property. So you already talk about this one or probably on your radiation production and characteristic subject na may mga structures, mga object na malakas mag-absorb ng radiation. And that is because of their certain properties. But that is to be expounded by your by that subject. Pero dito bigyan ko lang kayo ng idea na may mga katulad ng buto, mataas ang kanyang density, ang kanyang effective atomic number, malakas siyang mag-attenuate ng beam. Halos na-absorb niya lahat. Kaya dun sa ano natin, sa exposure field, like sa case na to, sa film, yung region na yun, madideprive ng exposure ng radiation. And during the development process, walang magiging source ng blackness. So kaya yung part na to magiging puti. Ang tawag natin sa part na yun is radiopaque. Yan, pag na-encounter niyo, as we discuss this, yan, na-encounter niyo yung term na radiopaque, we are pertaining to a region na mababa ang exposure level dahil yun na nakatapat doon mga structures na mataas ang absorbing property. So yung mga nakapaligid sa kanya na soft tissues and other part of tissues is mahinang mag-attenuate ng beam. So mas maraming pupunta doon sa mga areas na yun ng radiation kaya sila mangingitim. So yung nakapaligid mangingitim, magda-darken, at ang tawag natin doon sa mga magbablock is radiolucent. And radiolucent. Okay, kapag ka dun sa mga maputi, radiopaque, sa black it's radiolucent. Yan, kasi nga hindi sila masyadong nag-absorb ng beam, so mas maraming tatagos sa kanila, mas maraming makakapunta sa film. Yan, so that's what subject contrast is all about. Okay, let's move to the aerial image once again. This also contaminated by unwanted noise, which impairs the quality of information that is displayed on the imaging system. Okay, so ang binabanggit naman dito is yung enemy ng ating contrast that makes it difficult for us to visualize the image kasi yun nga ang primary purpose ni contrast, for it to differentiate the pattern, which is yung pattern na yun yung magiging image natin. Pero dahil may presence ng noise, that particular pattern na nakakatulong sa visibility natin ay nadi-distort. So ang tawag natin doon sa mga distortion na yon ng ating contrast is what we call noise. Yan. So yung noise parang pagka meron kayong nakausap via phone at may static na nagiging choppy yung communication, that's a noise, may noise doon sa signal. And also sa pag nanonood kayo halimbawa ng mga ng video, yung mga video na ngayon kasi it's more of digital pero if you're still using antenna, so if you've encountered that TV that particularly use antenna only, yung wag mahina yung nagde-detect na signal ng antenna, nagkakaroon ng mga spots na kulay puti, which preventing the proper display of the image. So, hindi masyadong ma-appreciate yung image. We call that noise. Parang dito rin sa radiograph natin. So, yung halimbawa, eto instead na total, yung blackness niya is a good quality density, or rather yung contribution ng density for the good contrast is nasisira ng noise. So mga unwanted na ano sila na information, or unwanted na signal that somehow uh, impede the proper rendering of the contrast. So nasisira yung proper visualization ng ating contrast. Okay. So that's noise. So basta tatandaan lang pag noise kalaban ng ating radiographic contrast. So, na ano niya nasisira niya yung proper pattern sana. Okay. So example ng mga to is we have the quantum motel. So pag sinabi natin quantum motel, these are the yung at yung beam softening, or yung ating beam photon starvation rather. Okay, so sa quantum motel, yung X-ray beam natin hindi maganda yung pagkakaproduce niya. So particularly this is often happening if you have a high KBP but low MAS. So doon natin pag-uusapan yan sa technical exposure factors. Ngayon kasi nasa radiographic quality tayo. But as we enter the technical exposure factors, the formulation of it, so yung kapag ka masyadong mababa yung ginamit mong MAS, which is sa kanya nakadepend yung total amount of the photons that will constitute your beam, which in turn create the density. So pag masyadong mababa yung ginamit mong controller ng density, which is si MAS, magkakaroon ka ng quantum motel. Yes, may image ka pero ano siya, masyado siyang maputla na puro tuldok. So yun, tawag natin doon salt and pepper appearance. So pag-uusapan pa natin further yun. Pero just to give you some idea here in contrast. Also, scattered radiation. So in scattered radiation, we're quite familiar with this one. So yung pag masyadong mataas naman yung KBP, ang lalo pa yung negative effect niya, tumataas yung production ng scattered. So scattered, eto si patient, pag tama ng mataas na KB ng beam, majority of the interaction, and it will be discussed by radiation production, but just to mention here yung tinatawag na Compton interaction. So pag tama ng mataas na energy ng beam, tataas yung scattering. So instead na halos sa absorption lang saka penetration, which is yun yung good for radiographic contrast, nagkakaroon ng redirection ng some portion of the energy of the beam, and some of them can also reach the IR or the image receptor, resulting into additional information that is not an actual not an actual detail from the anatomy of the patient. So scattering yon. So nakaka-affect din siya, or it will render also some sort of noise to the image. Another is the fogging. So pag sa fogging naman, this is actually the effect of scattered radiation. So nagkakaroon ng curtain of blackness. So parang sa mga view na, halimbawa sa Baguio, if you go to Baguio, you use the Cannon Road, or as you've seen the view because of the fog. So kapag ka walang fog, you can appreciate the beauty ng scenery. But if there's a fog, it will be difficult to see yung tinitingnan mong view. So parang sa ano rin kapag ka if you are driving and foggy yung daan, it will be difficult for the driver to perceive kung ano ba yung nasa kalsada na. So that's the effect of fogging. Similar with the image, with the radiographic image, when there's a significant fogging, yung dahil sa scattered radiation, instead na kitang-kita mo kaagad yung anatomy or yung structure, merong parang nakatakip sa kanya na very faint or very slight blackness. So which is yung mga finer details, yung mga sobrang liliit na detalye natatakpan nun. So kaya hindi naging masyadong maganda yung image natin. Okay, so those are the three common noise factors. Don't worry, dadaanan ulit natin sila as we progress with our lesson. But just mentioning here. Okay, so furthermore, there are determining factors of subject contrast. So dito, tatlo muna yung pag-anuhan natin, yung pag-usapan natin na three main factors. Number one, sa subject contrast is the patient size. So yung patient size is the thickness, particularly the thickness, yun yung pinaka number one dyan. So marami pa to, the size, the other parameters of the patient, but when it comes to patient size, it's the thickness, gaano kakapal yung structure na ine-examine. Ang general rule lang kasi, tatandaan nyo to, kapag mas makapal, mas mataas ang scattered interaction. Mas mataas ang scattered, at pag mas mataas ang scattered, ano ang magagawa? Mataas din ang production ng fog. At pag mataas ang fog, pumapangit ang contrast. Nahihirapan tayong makita yung detail ng anatomy. Okay, density, of course, it's the effective density, how compact. So, gaano kasiksik yung anatomy na kinukunan. For example, is the bone. Yan. So, mataas ang density ng bone, kaya mataas ang attenuation niya, mataas ang kanyang absorption, thus resulting into the appearance of radio opacity. Okay, so that's density. Dito yung density na na blackness. Kapag sa subject contrast, this pertains to how compact, gaano kasiksik yung mga atoms or molecules na bumubuo doon sa anatomical structure, may affecting its absorption ability. Okay, so next one will be the attenuating characteristic of the subject. Okay, so ito nga yung kung ang tinamaan ba is bone, soft tissue, fats, yan. So yung mga iba't ibang structures na na-mention na yon, mga organs, may kanya-kanya silang degree of absorption. So depende sa organ katamaan, ano yung kanyang histological nature or yung composition ng tissue niya, yun yung magdi-determine kung paano siya ma-render as a density on our image. And later on, constituting or contributing to our overall subject contrast. Okay, so dito anuhan natin, so nabanggit ko na sa inyo yung primary, pero dagdagan lang natin further here. So subject contrast is particularly the patient size, it's more concerned about thickness. So when we say thickness, this with the increased total thickness of tissue traversed by the X-ray beam, there are more atoms available for interaction. So habang mas kumakapal, syempre mas mataas yung tendency na maraming atoms na naka-distribute, na as the beam traverse, yan, marami siyang mataas yung probability na maka-interact siya ng atom. Dun sa core ng atom siya tumama, resulting to some interaction of radiation with matter. Like as mentioned here, absorption and scattering. So, yan, mas mataas yung, pag tumama siya, mas mataas yung tendency na ma-absorb, or depende nga dun sa other factor natin, yung energy, which is yung KB, so pwede rin siyang mag-cause ng scattering. So, kung yung proseso nun, yung in-depth explanation, yung physics behind that, i-cover yun ng radiation production and characteristics nyo. Pero dito binabanggit ko lang para at least ma-connect nyo siya eventually dun sa subject na yun. Kasi yung radiation production and characteristics, yung physics na pinag-uusapan doon is actually application ito. So that's the theory, and this is the more practical application, yung subject natin, yung principles of imaging. Okay, so yan. So yun yung reason kung bakit naka-affect sa contrast patient thickness. Sabi pa dito, further, greater attenuation means that less radiation is transmitted through the patient, less exit radiation is available for interaction with the imaging system. Yun din yung explanation ko sa buto kanina. Dahil nga mataas ang kanyang absorbing ability, so wala na masyadong tatagos dun sa region na yon. Unlike pagka ang tinamaan, let's say for instance, such as X-ray, yung lung field, yung area na may purely lungs lang na walang nakatakip na any solid structure like ribs. So yun, halimbawa sa area ng intercoastal spaces, lungs lang halos ang kita doon. So kapag tumama yung beam, tatago siya dire-diretso, wala siyang may encounter na highly attenuating structure like bones. So yung lungs, it's quite given na halos hangin lang yun naman, tatagos lang siya. So yung nakatapat na yun sa film, mangingitim siya. Kasi maraming ang tumagos at nakarating sa region na yun ng film natin or ng image receptor. But those na merong solid structures like bones na nakatapat, magiging puti. So yung tawag natin doon kanina, radio opacity. Pag white, doon sa nagiging black, we have the radio lucency. Okay, so puntahan natin naman si part density. So pag sinabi nating part density, an increase in density which is often given by the metric system as gram per cubic centimeter or sa SI niya, yung SI na the KGS MKS rather. So we have kilogram per cubic meter. Pero dito, yung ginamit yung CGS system ng metric which is gram per centimeter cube. So simply pertains to how compact nga, gaano kadikit-dikit yung mga atoms. So as mas dikit-dikit sila, pag interact yung beam, there's higher tendency na magkaroon ng attenuating interaction. Yan, increases the X-ray attenuation per centimeter of tissue. So with higher density, more electrons are present per cubic centimeter of tissue to engage in Compton scattering. So ito na-mention ko sa inyo to kanina, primary cause ng pag-redirect ng beam. So kapag ito naging predominant, so yung probability niyan, may ano to kasi may certain na ratio and a little bit of computation pero sa subject nga ng radiation production and characteristic dito kinoconnect ko lang siya doon para pag pinag-usapan niyo na you can see the bigger picture. Okay, so Compton na scattering yung mas mangyayari pagka mataas yung density ng structure resulting into for more production of scattered radiation. Pagka Compton interaction kasi more scattered dyan, scattering at the outermost shell of the electrons, rather outermost shell yan nung atom. So, pero sa radiation production yun yung pag-uusapan. Ano lang dito, mini-mention lang natin para makita nyo kung saan ba talaga yung pinanggagalingan. Okay. So let's move to the to attenuating characteristic of the subject. So this pertains to the property of the anatomy ng patient. So here photoelectric absorption increases dramatically with increasing atomic number. So mas mataas yung effective atomic number ng structure. Like pagka nasa radiobiology, I think sa radiobiology nyo ngayon tinitake nyo siya or on other semester, yung mga structures na meron sila mga property in terms of absorption, like one of the coefficient there is the in the attenuating coefficient is the effective density. Halimbawa, si bone, 13 point something. So, yan, may mga atomic number siya. So, which is mas mataas yung effective atomic number, mas malakas siyang mag-absorb ng radiation. And attenuation is higher per centimeter of bone than per soft tissue. Yan. So, ini-indicate lang nito kung gaano ba ka effective nag-attenuate, magbawas ng energy ng beam yung isang structure. Yan. So, yung ibig sabihin ng attenuating characteristic, which is actually integration siya ng mga iba't ibang property na na-mention natin kanina, like yung, but this is more inherent, like yung density ng structure na yon, yung effective atomic number niya. So it's a lot of in the overall summation ng mga property na nagpo-promote para mas mag-absorb siya ng energy ng beam. So that's the attenuating characteristic of the subject. Okay, so film contrast on the other hand, so nasa pangalawang portion na tayo ng contrast. So film contrast on the other hand, films vary in inherent contrast depending on their emulsion characteristic. Kung si subject kanina tungkol sa attenuation na nagagawa ng body part ni patient, sa film contrast naman, yung property ng X-ray film, yung image receptor na mag-produce ng contrast, which is in response dun sa matatanggap niyang radiation. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng film is universal ang kanilang property. Yes, meron silang mga common properties, but it depends still. Some of the properties are dependent kung sino ang nag-manufacture. So, kung sino gumawa ng film, meron silang mga ginagawang specification ng sensitivity nila sa radiation. So, that's affecting yung ability ng film na mag-create ng contrast. Yan. So, films are designed for long, medium, and short contrast. So, merong mga film na mas ano siya, mas maganda siyang gumawa ng mga long contrast, short contrast. Etong mga to pag-uusapan natin to paano ba yung masabing short contrast. So, as we go to evaluation of contrast, you will see paano ba ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng low contrast, short contrast, and short scale of contrast. So may mga ganun pa kasing parameters na important to to associate with contrast, but that is to be discussed later. So film development also affects film contrast. So kapag mas ma mas tagal yung pag-immerse ng film, halimbawa sa chemical processing. Kapag natagalan ka sa ganitong solution, there's a tendency na yung film na yun mag-fog, yan, magkaroon ng chemical fog resulting into destroyed contrast. So kaya you must know first kung ano ba yung property or the recommendation of the manufacturer of the film to know how to handle a certain film. Like etong ganitong film, yung property niya, mas design siya para sa ganitong examination. Diba? Pang mga small structures lang siya. And ganito dapat yung ginagamit sa kanyang accessory like intensifying screen na pag-uusapan natin eventually. And yung kung paano ba siya ilulubog sa chemicals. So duration, yung ideal na temperature ng chemicals. Yan. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng film contrast. It's about the property of the recording medium where the image will be recorded or rendered. Kasi hindi nga sila pantay-pantay ng hindi sila parehas sa lahat ng aspeto. Palaging merong manufacturer dependent na factor. Okay, so film contrast, intensifying screen. So speaking of, convert 98% or more of the radiologic image to light. Okay, so if you've encountered this term before, so yung intensifying screen, so siya yung ginagamit in order to lessen. Ang primary purpose kasi nito is for the sake of dose reduction. Dati kasi direct exposure. Pag sinabi natin direct exposure, yung X-ray film na, yung diretsong, rather yung X-ray na yung diretsong gagawa ng image. Pero kasi nun, ang negative consequence, masyadong matagal yung formation ng image. And habang mas matagal yung formation, mas matagal din yung na-expose sa radiation yung patient. And pag mas matagal na nangyayari yun, there's a higher dose, mas mataas yung amount ng radiation na napupunta dun sa tissues ni patient, thus resulting into higher probability of causing negative effects of radiation na pag-uusapan nyo sa radiobiology. Pero dito, ang ang gusto lang nating i-connect is yung paggamit ng intensifying screen and how it somehow affects the contrast. Okay, so pag gumagamit kasi tayo ng intensifying screen, bumibilis yung imaging time or yung production ng image. And like pag X-ray kasi, mag-accumulate muna siya ng matagal. So, ang tagal mong i-expose ng tuloy-tuloy yung patient just to create that image. Pero dito, with the use of intensifying screen, bumibilis na yung proseso ng formation ng density dahil nga na-intensify, namumultiply kasi nung intensifying screen yung liwanag, rather yung X-ray, yung mahinang X-ray na tumatama kay patient na nag-emerge sa kanya after interaction. Pag dumating sila sa intensifying screen, imumultiply niya yung energy nun as a form of visible light. And that, in return, the visible light will expose the field. So yung mga image receptor natin, they are also designed, majority of them are designed to respond to the inputs of light. Kaya nga, nagda-dark room tayo. Kaya nga pagka nagpa-process tayo, majority of the time, is nasa dark room tayo or covered yung ating image receptor kasi there's a possibility na masira yung naka-record na image ng external light. And so kasi nga yung intensifying screen yun yung ginagawa niya. I-convert yung light para yun yung mag-form ng image. And dapat yung light lang na galing sa intensifying screen, hindi pa pwede yung light na galing sa labas. Masisira yung image natin, yung appearance niya. it will become somewhat noisy or dark na dark. Okay, so the aerial image is changed almost completely to light. Ano nga ulit yung aerial image kanina? This is the pattern of the X-ray emerging from the patient. Somehow or in some reference, it is being called as the remnant beam. And remnant beam. So actually tinawag na remnant beam, siya yung remaining na X-rays na lumabas dun sa patient after tumama na yung X-ray beam na siya na yung papunta kasi sa ano natin sa image receptor or sa recording medium. So yung image na laman no ng remnant beam, it's the aerial image. Yan. So at dito nga kapag gumagamit ng intensifying screen, ikino-convert ni IS from X-ray pattern into light pattern and which is recorded sa film. This process enhances the contrast because screen type film has more inherent contrast for light emitted by the screens than for X-rays directly. Okay, so in somewhat pagka meron tayong compatibility, so pag-uusapan natin eventually to sa some ano pa in some discussion na meron tayong spectral matching na tinatawag. So kapag tugma yung film sensitivity dun sa intensifying screen, it will somehow amplify the formation of the image. Pero kapag merong mismatch, it could also be a problem. Yan. So pero may separate discussion 'yun. And meron din siyang effect actually sa detail. So pero to be ano nga siya, may separate siyang discussion. Ang focus niyo lang muna dito is ang contrast, it's somewhat naapektuhan siya ng intensifying screen. Pero may mga categories pa yon kung paano siya maapektuhan. Pero ang main function nito is to convert only X-ray into or to multiply it in the form of visible light. Yan, para bumaba yung patient dose. Ang pinaka-goal kasi niyan is pababain yung patient exposure. Okay, so films and subject contrast relationship. So radio opacity is the degree of attenuation in tissues. Nabanggit ko na sa inyo kanina, pagka radio opaque ang isang structure, mas mataas yung absorption niya ng energy ng beam. So konti yung tatama dun sa ating image receptor na nasa ilalim niya. So ang magiging kulay niya is puti. Yan. Ang tawag natin sa mga structures na yun is radio opaque. Yung property na mataas mag-absorb, radio opacity. So radiolucency, opposite lang ng radio opacity, it's more about the degree of transmission in the tissue. Pag radiolucent ang isang structure, mas maraming tumatagos sa kanya o lesser ang attenuation. Pag radiopaque, mataas ang absorption, radiolucency, mas mataas ang penetration. And so the greater the tissue attenuation, less radiation transmitted through the patient. Yan. So pag mas mataas yung attenuation, mas maraming na-absorb si patient na portion ng beam natin kaya magkakaroon ng pagputi. So kapag ka naman more on lucency or transmission yung nangyari, the more density will be formed. Okay, so here synthesizing film and subject contrast relationship. So various soft tissues are represented as shades of gray. Yan. So meron silang certain degree of blackness and they are being described on the spectrum of density as shades of gray. Yan. So yung pinakita ko sa inyo before na may mga steps yon, yung mga shades of gray na yon. So depending on their differential absorption or attenuation. So may mga structures na mas kulay itim, merong kulay gray, at meron yung mas papunta na sa pagiging itsurang kulay puti. So example nito, the fat capsule around the kidneys. So itong fat capsule or the corpora adiposa, yan ng kidney, it's somehow ano yung kanyang lesser ang kanyang attenuation. So dahil nga fat ang kanyang nature at ang nature ng fat is somewhat madali siyang ma-penetrate ng beam. Samantalang yung mismong kidney, yung cortex ng kidney, yung talagang cover na siya ng actual organ ng kidney, yung cortex, it's higher attenuation. Kaya yun maputi, pero yung nakapaligid sa kanyang fat capsule, medyo darker, medyo mas maitim siya. Okay, so the fat around the psoas muscle. So si psoas muscle natin is somewhat a structure that is quite visible sa abdominal X-ray. So pag nakita niyo sa abdominal X-ray sa gilid ng spine, sa gilid ng dalawang spine natin. For example, this is the spine. Sa gilid ng spine, merong si spine puting-puti, they are white. Tapos sa gilid, merong shades of gray. So medyo ano siya, medyo white pero gray. Tapos the rest of the background is almost black. So yung region na yon, that is the psoas muscle, which is quite important in locating the kidney. Yung psoas muscle kasi saka yung kidney magkatabi. Yan na ano sila, mga landmark natin sila, mga para mga ano to, mga basis ng pag nagja-judge tayo ng proper exposure ng abdominal X-ray. Yan. So dapat may certain degree of visibility ng psoas muscle in for to help in the visualization of kidney. And so pag-usapan pa natin 'yon sa mga susunod na ano kung paano yung pag-evaluate kasi ngayon nasa ano pa tayo radiographic quality. So sa mga susunod na parts, paano ba mag-evaluate kung tama ba yung image na nagawa natin based on its appearance yan. Katulad nito sa abdominal X-ray, yung visualization ng psoas muscle with its adjacent structure ng kidneys. And so both appear as a dark gray or nearly black lines. And so yun yung common na appearance nila and that is what contrast is about the appearance based on the density. So this ultimately produces subject contrast which improves the image quality. Okay, so subject siya and yung response ng film, it's the film contrast. Putting them together, radiographic contrast. Okay, so ang controlling factor ng ating contrast is no other than KDP. So na-emphasize ko na sa inyo to on the previous discussion, pero dito mas dagdagan pa natin siya. So bakit nga ba siya ang controlling factor? Siya ang nagdi-determine kasi ng penetrability ng remnant beam. Okay, so paano niya nakokontrol yung contrast sa ganitong property? So let's say for instance, ito yung film, ito yung pasyente. Okay, so may mga structures na radio fake, tapos merong radiolucent, tapos etong mga structure na to is slightly attenuating lang. So pag dumaan dito yung beam, okay, so kapag yung na-form mo na beam out of your technical exposure factor, yung energy ng beam natin is medyo mababa. So kapag dating dito sa structure na sobrang taas yung attenuation or yung absorption property, mabablock siya or totally maa-absorb. So etong area na to mamumuti talaga, makikita mong puti. Tapos ito naman medyo intermediate yung kanyang attenuation, some portion ay maa-absorb, some naman will be allowed to penetrate pero mas mahina na. So ang blackness niya is sakto lang. Tapos ito na talagang mababa ang attenuation, tatagos talaga sa kanya yung kahit yung mahinang beam. So magmumukha siyang puting-puti. So you can see na it's very visualize yung yung pagkakaiba-iba nila and that is contrast. Kaya pagka mahina ang energy ng beam natin, yung penetrating power ng beam, so it will somehow give us more contrast. At tandaan nyo, pag mas mababa ang KBP, which is the controller of the contrast, mas tumataas ang contrast. Pag sinabi kasing contrast, again, is the visualization of the differences of density. So mas kitang-kita mo kaagad yung pagkakaiba ng puti, ng gray, saka ng black. Dahil nga mahina yung penetration ng beam, mas madali silang ma-demonstrate. Pero kung gagamit kayo ng mataas na KBP, so let's say inaasan natin yung energy ng beam, because KBP is also the one that will control the energy of the beam. At yung energy ng beam, yun yung magkukos sa kanya para makatagos siya ng certain structure. Okay, so pag mas mataas yung KBP na yan, yes, dito automatic sa baba wala masyadong attenuation, tatagos talaga. Dito sa may medyo attenuating intermediate, mas tumataas yung degree o natatagos. And dahil nga mataas lalo yung KBP mo, yung energy ng beam, even dun sa dating purely absorption na radiopaque, pwede na rin siyang tumagos. So magpapantay-pantay silang maitim ang itsura ngayon. So yun yung reason kung bakit si KBP ang controller ng contrast. So mas mataas siya, mas pumapangit ang contrast kasi halos magkakamuka-muka lahat nung appearance ng density ng mga adjacent structures. Pero pag binababa siya, mas napopromote niya yung differentiation ng appearance ng density ng mga structures na tinamaan ng ating beam. And as the penetrability increases, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. So as the penetrability increases, the scale of contrast on the radiographic image lengthens, thus giving the appearance of an increase in number of the gray shades. Okay, so etong ang tinutukoy niyan na ng statement na to is naglo-lower yung contrast. Lower contrast or low contrast in general. So bakit? Kasi nga halos nagiging magkakamukha sila. So ano yung tinutukoy dito na nagle-lengthens yung appearance ng shades of gray. So yung dun sa pinakita ko sa inyo before, yung may mga steps, merong black and white. So ito black, tas ito naman yung white. Okay, so yung pagitan ng black and white lumalaki. So dumadami yung shades of gray and medyo magiging mahirap na i-visualize or i-distinguish yung pagkakaiba nila kasi ito black na, tapos yung katabi niya black, tapos ito black gray, tapos gray pa rin. So dumadami yung yung steps or yung differentiation between black and white, and that will be difficult for the viewer to distinguish na ito na pala yung organ or yung structure na pinag-uusapan unless you are well versed when distinguishing that, like yung mga radiologists, they are well accustomed to that. Pero kapag gusto natin ipakita, katulad yung very easily, buto to, ito muscle, ito fats, ayun yung mga high contrast at maliit lang yung scale nila, yung scale of contrast nila. So sinong kumokontrol nung na yun, yung formation ng shades of gray, yung number of shades of gray, it's the KBP. The higher the KBP, the longer or the wider the shades, the latitude or the number of shades of gray, thus resulting into low contrast. Pag binaba naman natin yung KBP, bababa yung energy ng beam, bababa yung penetration niya, and mas mapapakita natin yung differentiation ng attenuation. So mas kitang-kita mo kagad na black, gray, and white yung nasa image natin. It's fewer shades of gray. Yan. So doon, i-explain ko pa to sa inyo further, yung connection yan, yung mga contrast, shades of gray, latitude. Meron pa tayong separate discussion doon. Pero dito, na binabanggit ko na para at least meron kayong idea na pag dumating tayo doon sa na yun, sa discussion na yun, kasi medyo complex na siya pag sinama ko pa yung ibang mga influencing factors. Pero speaking of influencing factor, ayan, influencing factor, dito mababanggit ulit sila. So controlling factor, likewise, as the penetrability of the remnant beam decreases, the scale of the contrast shortens, thus giving the image a more black and white appearance. Ito nga yung opposite yung binanggit natin dito, yung kung paano magkaroon ng higher contrast. So lower contrast, pag mas mataas yung KBP mo, mas nagiging halos magkakamuka yung shades of gray. So mas dumadami sila. Pero kapag binabaan mo yung energy, yung penetrability of beam, mas mapapakita mo easily yung differentiation ng black and white. Right. So yun naman, ito naman yung high contrast. Kanina yung dinidescribe is low contrast. Ito, this is high contrast. And pero ano nag-produce sa kanyang KBP or penetrability ng beam? Low. So low kapag high contrast. Ito naman, yung sa kabila, ang nag-produce sa kanya is high KBP or high penetrating power ng beam, nag-cause ng lowering of contrast. Yan. At yung explanation doon yung binabanggit ko kanina. Okay, ito na yung last na ng ating discussion about contrast for this topic muna. So pero again, meron pa tong mga mas malalim na mga discussion. But for the meantime, para bite size, mas madaling ma-absorb. Okay, so again, dun sa una nating discussion, pag sinabing controlling factor, siya ang main actor. Siya sa kanya iikot yung story. Siya ang main na protagonist or determiner no kung paano mag-perform ang contrast. Pero pwede ring maapektuhan yung course nung formation niya ng contrast ng mga side character at sila yung mga influencing factors. Okay, so si MAS, it's not actually a controller of contrast. So it depends upon the book. Okay, so ito, clarification. Pag ginamit ko sa si Busyong, yung milliamp per seconds, it depends upon kung nasaan tayo nasang region tayo nung HND curve. Okay, so yung HND curve, meron tayong separate na discussion doon, pero wag niyo munang problemahin. Depende sa ang region tayo nung HND curve or nung sensitometric curve, pwede mo masabing nakaka-influence si MAS sa contrast. But in general, hindi siya. Doon na lang ang exception lang dito kapag pinag-usapan na natin nasaan region tayo ng sensitometric curve. And doon mo masasabing sa portion na to, pwede na si MAS. So it depends upon. So grids are somehow an influencing factor that will affect the contrast because they will be the one involved in scatter cleanup. Yan, so kaya nilang bawasan yung scattered radiation. Yan, so scattered scattering. Yan ang kinokontrol niyan. Which is nabanggit na i-connect na natin kanina, pag mas mataas ang scattered radiation, mas mataas yung pagbaba ng contrast. Yan, so dahil sa fogging. Okay, so pag-uusapan pa natin in-depth yan, yung mga grids na yan. Meron kasi mga ano pa yung computation. Kasi may mga basta meron siyang computation, meron siyang mga factors and out of the exposure factors there, yung factor ng grid i-consider natin and we will do a little bit of computation para ma-achieve natin yung appearance ng image na gusto natin. Okay, pero huwag niyo munang problemahin. May discussion tayo para doon. Yung may computation na ng grids. Okay, so beam limiting devices, ito yung mas kilala niyo sa tawag na collimator, but collimator is just a part of beam limiting devices. Marami kasi sila, pero pinakakilala si collimator na adjust niya yung exposure field and the exposure field in return will affect yung formation ng scattered radiation and affecting further the formation of contrast. Intensification factor, ito yung sa IS, sa intensifying screen, kung paano siya mag-convert ng X-ray to visible light. Yan. So may ano siya, meron siyang influence sa contrast and also as we talk about details, radiographic details, may effect din yan. Okay, patient consideration, yun nga, yung mga properties ni patient, yung patient's body, siya yung mas pinanggagalingan ng subject, contrast. Yan. And also contrast media. So ito yung mga agent na chemical agents na pwede nating ibigay in order to further highlight a certain anatomy. For example, kapag napunta na kayo sa subject ng radiologic contrast examinations, kapag ganun ba, isang blood vessel or yung portion ng gastrointestinal tract, gusto nating mas mapakita na otherwise kapag plain X-ray exam, they will just appear plainly, hindi sila masyadong ganun ka-appreciated. Pero pag gusto nating i-emphasize sila na nandun pala yung niro-rule out na condition, nagbibigay tayo ng contrast media like yung barium sulfate, yung iodinated contrast media. Pero may ano kasi rin to, meron din tong negative form. So yung mga positive contrast media yon and yung mga negative form like air. And so di-discuss din natin siya pagka dating natin doon sa portion ng quality affected by contrast media. Pero that's the ano, yung mga external factor or mga inorganic na na substance that we employ in order to highlight the appearance of a certain anatomy. So ang tawag natin sa mga yon is contrast media. Okay, so for the meantime, hanggang dito muna tayo and we will further expound this one on our next meeting. Okay, so see you on our next discussion.
Okay, class, do you have any particular question? Meron kayong gustong itanong or i-clarify with regards to this topic? Okay, so I think with your silence, there is none. Okay, so that's all for now, and see you by next meeting. So enjoy the rest of the weekend and stay safe. Okay, so okay na everyone. You may take your rest na. Thank you, thank you.